Roman?
Nope.
No. So we can fly right at her. We have a project agreement associated with road work on Sunrise Creek?
Yeah, so we got through our burned area emergency response assessment about a week or so ago and went through the upper chains of review and everything like that. As far as a lot of miles of road within that area that, we're kind of proposing to storm-proof. It doesn't add up to a ton of money, just a lot of ground to cover in that side of it. But unlike a lot of the assessments that I've been a part of, there's just not a lot of water in that area. So we didn't have a lot of worry of pipes that are going to blow out or anything like that. We identified a couple, a few, and two of them have to be on a Schedule A road in Sunrise Creek. And so in order to kind of expedite that process and kind of have the ability to maybe keep some of the work local and stuff like that, I thought of the idea of doing those two culvert upsizes on the Sunrise Creek Road through this project agreement on Schedule A. So I have a little map right here of where they're at. The road is on our Schedule A agreement. I believe at that point, maybe the whole thing is a Forest Service road, just that I think county does some, do you do some maintenance on that first piece?
Yeah, up to Crabs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first about mile. And
First loop.
and I think that those,
Oh, it must be up here.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just not far beyond Crab before the switchback anyway.
right.
Oh, okay.
What
And
size of
flat.
culverts would you be putting upsizer to?
They wanted a equivalent of a 72-inch round, but I'll put it in as a squash.
What's in there now?
They're about, I think they're about 48 inches.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're pretty small, but they're 48 inch like squash, so they probably span about 5 feet right now. So not major upgrades. It's tough, you look at them right now, they're dry. You're kind of going, eh. But I definitely can see,
With this, with
Yeah.
nothing to hold it back. Because I think this year was the first time I've seen Sunrise run water and,
Since 96,
Yeah.
97, I think, Lori, especially down on the lower end, but you don't know, and if we
Yeah.
get a,
Well, and they're saying a
Yep.
tougher winter this winter.
yeah.
enough
Of
to
course, we
hold
don't
it back,
need
so you
wash
could
your
get a
mouth
pretty
out.
good flush coming through there.
they have flushed before. I mean, one sign that I always look at is on the outlet how much scour there is, and at some time they've blown. Of course, they worked. I mean, the road stayed there, but at any rate, we have a chance to get them upsized, and I think it's worth the investment. And was kind of curious if you guys wanted to take that on. Obviously, probably through a contract like we've been doing some of the other ones.
Yeah, that's fine with us.
Okay. Well, good. We have some of the engineering group already working on a little mini package like we've done, and so by like middle of next week, we'd have a little package, and we could put an advertisement in the paper, probably for not, it wouldn't be in next week's paper, but the following week's
Right.
paper.
Yeah, we
And
could.
same deal. So by the end of next week or early the next week, there'd be a little package that would be ready for contractors to pick up. So say a week from this coming Tuesday,
So mid-October,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
yeah, run it for. One thing that might consider, I don't know how flexible you are on this, is given only a week's ad to try to increase the time that they have for decent conditions to actually pull this off.
Well, how close are you to getting your package ready?
We'll have it by the end of next week.
Because we could probably have this in the paper by next Wednesday. That would add, then you'd get your 2 weeks, and we could add a week onto the, you know what I mean? So it'd be the same time frame. Because if we could have this stuff by even this afternoon or early Monday morning, as long as we do it by 12 o'clock
Yeah.
or something on
3
Monday.
o'clock is the last.
So we could still get it in by next Wednesday, and that would speed that up. Then we could do
The
the 2
ad
weeks.
part of it.
Yeah. Well, I can probably have you the package.
If we don't run it 2 weeks, I think we'll have problems.
Okay. Then
Yeah, I think just the way we've done
I think so.
everything
Fine
in
with
the
me.
past.
Okay, if we could just, and we'll just expedite it. If you can get the information to us, we can just expedite it through a week early. So
do you can you use the past ad templates and do that? And if I can commit to having the package ready for contractors to pick up by like Wednesday next week.
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll do that.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that'll meet that same time frame.
Yep.
Thinking of hunting season a little bit too, you know. I don't.
Yeah.
These aren't like party, like where we gotta bury them and get the stream simulation. These are a day apiece, so you'll be interrupting the road. Plus, you got alternative access on
Yeah.
that one. You know, you can loop around Birdie and
Come over the
so
way.
it's not gonna be near as disruptive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So are those road areas still closed?
They are, but we're looking, I was hoping to get them open by this weekend, but I can't get everything quite ready. But first of next week, we're gonna take the closure off. I think we're in good shape.
So is the trout campground still closed?
I've been telling people that we've had people come in because everything else is closed, and I said, go ahead, there's no reason you can't camp there, even though.
Because I just see out here at the thingy that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Still
Nancy
closed
take
and-
that down, and, but, 'cause I've sent people out there, and I've called the sheriff's office and said, if you see somebody camping in there, leave them alone. So we're gonna get everything opened up probably Monday or Tuesday.
Oh.
What about the campfires? 'Cause
They're legal.
They're legal
Yeah,
now?
they're legal.
I
And
thought they were, but I wasn't positive.
Just
It's-
open burning isn't.
But October 1st, open
Yeah.
burning will be, so.
I would just notice I went by Sean's the other day.
Yeah, I saw some smoke.
Oh, yeah, I've
the other
seen,
day coming
I've seen
from
people
the-
burning everywhere.
Yeah, it
Well,
seems
it
like
rained,
rain,
you know,
Yeah.
and not the closure.
I
Or the
thought-
opening.
I thought, well, I did, and then I was going somewhere, like, I was helping Rich move some cattle or something, forgot about it, and I thought, well,
Yeah. Somebody turns him in. Wow.
it isn't like the biggest, the
No.
first time I've seen smoke in the air all summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have the agreement ready to go. We can, sounds like, well, do you guys vote on doing the project agreement?
Yeah, I suppose we better.
Oops, there. Well, I'll make a motion that we approved Sunrise Road Drainage Maintenance Agreement with the U.S. Forest Service.
I would second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Can I see it?
Yeah.
Now that I made a motion?
Just and then we'll work on that, and then whenever you get it all figured out, just send me the pipe dimensions and what you want, and
Yeah.
I'll take care of that.
Oh yeah, that was another logistical thing. I guess you guys probably not as interested, but I'll probably just have Jason have the culverts ready to go to expedite, so that once it's done, they don't have to then take the time to go order the pipes. That can be going simultaneous.
Yeah.
We usually get better rates that way because contractors can mark up the culvert, so it does help them. But in the spirit of keeping costs down, this is the most efficient way to do it.
And probably quicker too.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing. Makes it go so much quicker.
Yeah. So, yeah, as soon as you get that information, just text it to me or
Yeah.
whatever, and I'll get it taken care of.
I do have the diameters, but for now, I'm not
Can
gonna.
we
change
keep
it.
this? Or do you
Yep.
need it back?
No. Oh, we should make,
Yeah.
because I gotta get Tim Garcia's signature. So I'll get a copy to leave with you guys. I haven't done a great job with the estimate. That's just kind of a guess. I'm thinking it's gonna be around 10,000 a piece, you know, but I could be
Come
wrong. And we'll just, I kept the agreement general enough to where we could do some other activities on the road
Gotcha.
if needed, you know.
Well,
Well, that'll be good.
Oh, we need to talk about the Lozo Bridge.
I know I was gonna run out there with you today, but I
Yeah.
got some other stuff
Yeah.
going, but.
I haven't actually seen it with my own eyes, but I've seen pictures from Sid. I mean, it's
Yeah, I looked at it.
clear there's some
there's some wear and tear from the heavy loads. I guess what I saw when I went and looked at it, where they come on and off, you have to make that turn with the heavy loads. It splintered the running planks and I think there's one plank or two that's been completely tore
Yeah.
up and just laying there, but a lot of them where they've turned, it splintered them. And I don't know, it just looked like to me the whole running plank looks like quite a bit of wear on it just from the whole weight, because the carriage bolts are kind
Yeah,
of,
it's kind of just compressed everything and just
yeah,
wore on
and
it.
the carriage bolts are kind of rippled up there from the running plank being worn down from the weight.
And I tried to talk those guys into putting those water tanks on the other side,
So they wouldn't have to go
and then
across
they'd
the
come
bridge.
across empty and turn around and go back empty, but they wouldn't do that. Then I told them, at one point, one truck at a time. And at one day we went down there and there was 4 trucks sitting on the bridge. So, obviously I made some calls and I didn't see that again, but I mean, they weren't respecting what we were, like I said, the first point of it is if they would have put the tanks on the other side, not a loaded truck wouldn't have went across that bridge and you wouldn't have had hardly any wear and tear probably, not to the extent that it is. But they were adamant about putting it on the
Other side
north
there.
side.
So can we make sure that gets taken care of in the rehab, or I don't know the chain of command
Okay,
on that?
here's what I've heard, and I might have to do a little bit more digging around with that, is that the county has to put a claim in for that. Is what I've been told, and the same with Brickers for their bridge.
Well, now I talked to Jim, or
Rob,
Torrey.
unless he's
And
gonna do something,
he apparently the Superior Fire Department's
gonna rebuild it.
taking care of it, because he said that he was waiting for a bid from Donnie Warnken
Okay,
to fix that bridge.
because the fire truck went through that, but that's what I was told, is that the county would need to put a claim in. But the trouble with that is, and I can check with Deanna again, is that goes to Albuquerque. And, there's a length of time if things get to Albuquerque as to when you might get a claim settled.
Well, I mean, does that same go for the claim we put in for Tim Reed and?
I'm still wrangling with them. I was up and talked to Tim and Candace here last week.
Yeah, Kelly never did get reimbursed for his tire either. So, and Jim Ward, I mean, he turned that in, well, when Sean Pearson's team was here right off the bat, and Jim wrote up a statement, Cody wrote up a statement, Kelly took pictures of it and everything, and
But I'm just thinking when you look at all the fire activity and whatever nationwide, and those claims go to Albuquerque, I'm thinking you could be a year getting, either a claim
Yeah.
approved, and the same way, up Verde Creek, and I can't think of the homeowner's name, where his septic was damaged. And the same thing, he brought a claim package in and we can't accept it at the local office. They've got to mail it to Albuquerque, and so I gave Amy all the mailing address and everything. But the same thing there, I mean, his drain field he had pictures and everything documenting it.
Did Reiner's ever get squared away? Do you
I don't know. I don't know.
Did you ever hear any more?
From Ken?
Yeah. Their water system was up in there someplace, and I guess when they did some of the rehab, they did a bunch of slashing, and all the slash ended up in the creek that.
Okay, now I didn't hear that. I know they were concerned about their water line, but I didn't hear about the slash in the creek. We have had a couple instances where we ended up rehabbing a road that people needed open for access, and one of them was that we dealt with just the other day was up there by Logan's,
Oh,
and we're using a road to get into a cabin or something, and actually, when we researched it, it was rehab, but they have no easement to get through there, but they have a cabin in there, so I requested that we use, get the excavator up there, Art Weir, and open that at least so they can get to the cabin irregardless, cause they gotta have access at least to there, but.
I'll check with Dana today and see if anything was ever resolved with it. Because
Yeah,
they
I
were
haven't heard any
concerned there
more
one
from
time.
them.
But if nothing
when-
had, then they would submit a claim if,
Yeah, they would submit a claim unless there's something that we can clean slash, like the roads, we've got equipment going and we can take care of that.
I'll check with her today.
Yeah,
and see.
but they would submit a claim, and so I've gotta make sure, like, I'm glad brickers were being tended to by,
yeah, I just,
Superior
I
Rural.
sent you that email and you said that it was the Superior, one of the rural fire trucks that went through there, so I contacted Rod Torrey, and he said that they were taking care of it, that they'd gotten supposed to be getting a bid from Donnie Warrenton to get it repaired, so.
I knew when they, out at the fire camp, when that happened, Rob said, that he would take care of it, and so I thought that he was, but in the event that he wouldn't have, since the Superior Rural engine was contracted to the fire, then it would
Yeah.
have been the fire's responsibility,
Yeah.
but you have to go through the claim process to get it replaced.
Yeah. So, anyway, he said he was taking care of it, so.
Well, I'll work on getting an estimate on that to redeck that bridge or whatever, and then I'll touch base with you next week or something, and we'll figure out what direction we need to go, I guess.
Yep. I'll talk to Deanna Crawford, our incident business management person for the Lolo on fires, and make sure if there's any other way,
Yeah.
and Nate, I might have her check with you if we can think of any other way versus a claims process.
I'm up for anything. I don't
I'd like to
disagree there was some
expedite it.
damage and there should be something taken care of. I haven't necessarily worked on that particular type of bridge. I looked at we peel ours off and there's big spikes in them. That's what we use for surfacing. Those look like a little bit more of a.
I think it's just a 2.5-inch plank is what it is.
No, the material is the same,
Oh.
but I don't know what the connection is.
Looked like
It's
a
just a
carriage
screw.
bolt.
It's a screw is what it is.
Okay.
But it's got an odd head on it. You have
Okay.
to have a tool.
Yeah, it's kind of a squared,
It's a round, but it's
Round.
got slots in it for like a socket to sit on it.
yeah, to get
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
kind of an odd deal. I've looked for one, tried to get one. I can't. I don't even know how to get one.
Is there any special rules to working on those bridges? Does it have to be a county crew? You said the state does the inspections. I mean,
Right. No, I think as long as it goes back the way it does, go the way it is.
nobody-
We're just talking driving planks. We're not talking
Yeah.
anything structural.
yeah, that's a good point.
It's just the run-in planks that
So,
took the beating.
But yeah, I'll look into that next week. So
you guys have your crew's never replaced those planks? in your-
no, I think it was all totally redone in 1996 maybe. They redid a whole bunch. Redid the
The
whole bridge.
state did that, or you guys did it?
No, we didn't do it. No,
State did it.
this been the state. I really don't know. I remember applying for that job when I got out of high school. It must have been 95 or 96 or somewhere in there.
It's held up a while. That's
Yeah.
hard to last.
It doesn't get much traffic, and trucks can't really. Not a lot of trucks go across it, so it's just car traffic, most times. So it doesn't take too bad a beating.
And do you guys plow it as a state?
We do. We don't necessarily plow the
Yeah.
bridge. He skims it, but he can't really plow it.
No. That's probably helped save. You drop a plow on it. I'm sure.
Well, he'd rip those spikes out, or he'd
Yeah.
catch something.
Okay, I think that's about the best we can do for now, but I'll help in whatever way I can. I just, the money side of it, I have no control.
Yeah, I think,
been-
and probably Deanna, that's probably the only way that I know that she can too is, but I'll double check.
So
I didn't know what Wheelers wanted to do. We put in that approach for the fire camp. there at Wheeler's Field.
Yes.
And then we added some gravel down by the cattle guard, which those were already approaches, those are probably fine. But we did build that one big wide approach, and I didn't know if Wheeler wanted that pulled out or what, so you might check with them guys on that too.
Okay, I was up and talked to Bill, here probably maybe a week and a half ago, and as far as getting his field rehabbed and whatnot, and he was gonna do some measurements, and then I know Dewey Arnold, was out here this week, and he was going around, working with Donnelly's, and he hadn't gotten to Wheeler's yet, but, trying to get those land use agreements and whatever rehab needed, taken care of. So,
Gotcha.
I think they hadn't gotten the power out of Wheeler's yet, according to Dewey, and they hadn't when I was out there. They still had all the snow fence and the power cable along in there.
Gotcha.
So is there any way that you could use this bear to do that piece there, that chunk going into Quartz Creek? You know, that you were looking at, it was kind of part of the Fish Creek project.
Oh,
you
the
know,
quartz drainage?
Yeah, where it sloughs off, dropping into Quartz Creek there.
I don't know.
Because now, see, when Sean Pearson was here, he wanted to completely close that road off because he said it was unsafe. He didn't want anybody, I mean, he wanted
Hadn't
it
driven
closed.
around here very
Yeah.
much, has he?
No, he said, that's unsafe. I mean, we want it closed off because there's gonna be stuff rolling off there and, no. So I thought, well, I know that was one of the projects when we did the Fish Creek one, it was kind of
Yeah.
combined in that, but then we ended up taking all the money and putting it into the Fish Creek Road. But now that the fire went through there,
Yeah, kinda. The severity, bear is weird. It's not like it's go fix everything in the world. You
Right.
have to really have these strong justifications, and it's all based on the burn severity map. And when they pulled the burn severity, I mean, there wasn't even nothing on this side of the creek, so there's nothing from there. And then the severity over here wasn't that much, and so they didn't even have much of a. But I don't know that we specifically talked about it. But this is an opportunity to make sure at least we discuss what's going on there.
even during the fire, they didn't even want Kelly going through there with the grader.
Yeah.
I mean, it was supposed to be light traffic only, and they weren't gonna send trucks through there, and
Yeah.
so it's
Oh.
like,
Yeah,
Okay.
Sean Pearson made a pretty strong statement. with
Yeah.
that.
I don't know, Sean Pearson.
He was the incident management team, the first type 2 that took over
took over.
right
Oh,
after
I think
the
I know who he is.
type 3. He's the FMO over on Panhandle.
Okay, I need to look into that a little bit more. I mean, it's a significant project in there, though. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't even know. There's so much stuff going on with rock walls and concrete walls, and I mean, it's not great.
no,
So, this is a good time to
that,
yeah, look at that a little bit more because it's kind of serious. I agree. Okay, that works for me. I'll be turning some stuff in by midweek, and if you can get the ad running or into the paper, whatever they need today or whatever their deadline is. I just take what we did for Oregon Gulch and kind of massage
We
it
can
and
tweak it, yeah.
keep it kind of general. That there'll be a package advertisement for 2 culvert upgrades in Sunrise Creek, and packages will be available Wednesday. We'll go with that, and we'll keep her moving forward. Get Tim to sign.
cool.
I'll get your copy, and we'll expedite one.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank
No.
We'll be
you.
talking to you soon.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Jason.
Yep.
Always helpful.
I'll talk to you this week, Carol, probably.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I'll double check with Deanna on
Monday.
the bridge stuff.
All right, EPA 5-year review.
Yes. Wow, that's right to the chase. Here we go. Yeah. Well, so we're here to review just the town of Superior's cleanup. 5 years ago was when they started the remedial action. And so I'm the project manager for EPA now. Robert Muller's my community involvement coordinator. And then Daryl Reed was here during the cleanup, and he's with the Montana Department of Environmental Quality. We also had 2 contractors here that are going to actually compile and perform the review. So it's kind of independent of EPA reviewing our own cleanup, but they had to leave this morning. So we're here to take notes on the interview questions we'll ask you, but we have a couple questions, and if you guys are ready or you want to ask any more questions about the process, let me know.
Okay.
With the commissioner's permission, I do have a small little, a few fact sheets about what is a 5-year review. It's not specific to this site, but it just talks about what they're intended to do. And so, may I?
Sure. You got it. Thank you.
So every Superfund site will go through this process. This is just Superior's first 5-year review. So. And we also, we wanted to kind of interview government, residents, homeowners, up the creek, neighboring people. So if we can include you guys as an official Mineral County Commissioner response, we can do that as an attachment to the report. Or the other option is just to include general comments in the report like this. So it would either we would send it to you to review and you'd be an attachment, or kind of more just interspersed throughout the report.
Kind of
Not as-
compiled with the rest
Yeah,
of
like
it.
not as formal as I guess I'm
Okay.
saying. So
I don't mind the formal.
No.
we'll do that then.
All right.
And I'm going to be taking some notes. So I'll have Robert Mueller pose the questions.
Sure.
to you guys.
Okay.
And again, the primary function of a 5-year review is to look at the effectiveness of the remedy, the protectiveness of the remedy for human health. So the idea is just to be candid and honest, let us know what you think, but this isn't your only opportunity. You know, if something comes to you a week from now, some additional content, go ahead and feel free to email us and we'll include that into the report. So the first question, are you aware of the former environmental issues at the site and the cleanup activities that have taken place?
Yes.
Good.
How did you get your information?
Well, I think the first information that I got on it was, when they discovered it on the track at the school a long time ago. I think I wasn't involved in county government at that time. I may have been on the St. Regis School Board. And it was in the newspapers. And then,
Well, I think it's always been known that it's been there, but not
Yeah,
that
I don't
to the
think
extent that it
that it
was,
was harmful.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
But primarily it was in the newspapers and word of mouth?
Yeah, and then there was,
Well,
and then, in the later years, there was public meetings.
Do you know of any problems with unusual or unexpected activities at the site, like vandalism or trespassing or anything like that?
Not that I know.
Not that I know either.
Nope. In fact, when they first started it, when they were building the repository, I was on the security at night security. So
Well, that's why. They knew,
that was before I was commissioner.
they knew she was a good shot.
Yeah.
So you were on the security detail for that?
Yep,
Oh.
yep. I sat up there from 7 o'clock at night till 7 o'clock in the morning, making sure nobody vandalized anything. So
I
I
think this
didn't
is the
know we
first
did
time
that.
ever I've met somebody who pulled security detail on the site. Thank
Yeah.
you. Are you aware of any changes to any local laws, state laws, or regulations that might affect the protectiveness of the site's remedy?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Are you aware of any changes in projected land uses?
Well, I think there's been a discussion of the Forest Service taking over part of it. Going back into the Forest Service ownership on parts of it, not
Okay.
all of it.
And that's up there.
That's been a discussion.
Anything like here in town?
Not here in
I
town,
don't
that I'm
think
aware
so.
of.
I think we've heard of it.
Do you feel well informed regarding the site's activities and remedial progress?
Mhm.
Oh, great. And so on that, what is the best way to reach people about this, and with information about the site?
Well, I think the local newspaper
Mhm.
is probably as effective, and then, maybe posting something around town.
The Chamber of Commerce has been real good about keeping the.
And maybe the,
um,
what about our
Updated.
website too, Candace? And
Yeah, our
Candace and-
website and our office.
Yeah, and Candace will tell
Yeah, sure.
them.
Or I'll send them to Tim.
There you go.
Sometimes we'll use email to pulse out information. Would be all right for you, for us to add
You
your
bet.
to. And I would imagine that's on your emails are on the webpage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you have any comments, suggestions, or anything else to add regarding the project? Any concerns?
No, I don't.
I don't think so anymore.
What's been your overall impression of the project and the cleanup and the activities at the site?
I think it was handled pretty darn professionally, and quickly, really,
Okay.
for the scope of what was going on and locating everything, and I think it was handled very well.
This is a bit of a redundant question here, but do you believe that EPA has kept involved parties and surrounding neighbors informed of activities at the site?
Yeah.
And we're always looking for suggestions. You know, every community has its own niche. Sometimes there's a community Facebook, or there's a certain kiosk that is guaranteed to attract attention. So, any advice or guidance now or into the future that you can help, or if you hear any grumblings or anything like that, and you think we need to be aware of it and address it, please just reach out to us at any time. I think that's all we have.
I
That
have
was
one
pretty
additional question.
good. Okay.
Are you guys aware of a limitation on digging in the town? At all?
What do you mean a limitation on digging?
If someone was gonna dig up a foundation or put something in, is there any?
Well, that was one of my concerns when it first came in, and I think I voiced it at the first community meeting that we had, was if it was deeper than what they cleaned it out, you know, what does someone do if they go to build a house, or, you know, and yeah, I think there is a limitation, isn't there? I mean, I don't know about a limitation, but
Yeah.
what happens if they want to put a basement in?
Okay. Yeah, you guys aren't not aware of if there's a process that's to be followed.
Yeah, I'm not aware of
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that's one of the questions we're asking, because Tim has helped develop a permitting process for anyone digging, but it's
Oh,
not
okay.
well known
Known.
around town. And so
Okay.
also part of the reasons for how do we contact people or let the community know of things like that, so, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a displacement ordinance.
Mhm.
Okay.
A soil displacement permit that you go through Tim Reed, and some of the contractors, all the contractors seem to know about it, but if someone from out of town was to hire someone from out of town to do
Oh.
work in town,
Okay.
there might be a
Confusing.
loophole there where they're not aware of contamination at depth below structures. So, but that's the things we want to know
Yeah.
about so that
Yeah.
people are protected in the
Mhm.
future. And-
Yeah, yeah. And did that was one of my questions too, now that you rattled my memory. Did every lot in town that was contaminated, as far as we know, did they say, okay, I want it cleaned up?
We
Because
just
that was one of my concerns, was what if somebody owned a whole block down there and they said, no, we don't want nothing to do with you,
Yeah.
stay away. Then 10 years down the road, somebody wants to build something there and has no idea.
Mhm.
There's supposed to be disclosures from your realtors and stuff, but
Mhm.
is there? You know,
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, I ain't saying that, against any realtor or anything else, I just,
Mhm.
10 years is a long time for somebody to, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
Exactly.
Did everybody pretty well get cleaned up?
Yeah, there's one property that we just got the release form for.
Oh,
The,
good.
the
Yeah.
final property. yeah.
So that would be the last place in town.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's for sampling. It hasn't been sampled yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
everywhere else
Okay.
has been sampled and if needed, cleaned up.
Okay,
So
well, good.
There's some cases where it's been sampled, but
It is.
A lot of cases.
it wasn't an issue, right? So they weren't cleaned up.
Good, good.
And if we do have something like fact sheets or other information materials, we like to find key places to put them so the public can come and grab one. Would it be okay if
Mhm.
we use this facility as a place?
Oh,
to-
you bet.
Okay,
You
great.
bet. Yep.
Any other questions or concerns?
I don't have any more.
This is an efficient county. Wow. We got 11 minutes into it. We're completely done with our business. If you do have future concerns, I'm going to I'll leave you with a couple of my business cards.
Okay.
And just shout out at any time, whether it's you have an idea or you have further questions or you hear somebody with a concern, you can point them our direction. So I'll leave 3 cards. Natalie, you want to add 3 cards? There you go.
Yeah. I don't know.
Daryl, you got
I've
some?
given
Yeah,
mine
I
out
do have
before.
some
This
cards.
is the newer. I just got my cards.
Daryl, did you have anything to add or
No.
you have your cards?
Yeah.
There you go.
Did we take your last 3?
No, I've got more.
Okay.
It's not right with me.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate your time.
Oh, you betcha. Appreciate you coming in and doing a follow-up.
Yeah. And you'll likely see us in town on occasion. We try to make all of the Superior Technical Assistant Committee meetings to the best of our ability. And if there's any site tours or anything like that, but then occasionally we'll just come in. There's also a document called a Community Involvement Plan. So every Superfund site, it's mandated by the circle of law that governs Superfund that there's a community involvement plan. There is one that I think was written initially when activities began. We're going to take information from these interviews and we'll update that. And once we have a draft, we'll pass it out to you. If you have any additional comments or suggestions, and then we can finalize that. And that'll be an evolving draft because social media. There's so many things that emerge, different concerns about the site. So that's a dynamic document, if you will. So we'll try to get that out maybe sometime early next year.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Great.
And the final part of the 5-year review is it's not due to be signed for a year. So even though we're doing our interviews now, we'll send all those in and the contractor will review new data and everything and put that together. So it's going to be a little bit of a lag, but that is like timed out that way. And then we'll notice that it's finalized and come to a public meeting in about a year for the 5-year review with our findings. So if you don't hear from us about that, it's only because it's supposed to take about a year to put everything together. But yeah, okay. That's all we have for today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have some public comment today?
We do.
We're too
So-
busy to hear it.
Okay. Well, I'll just read it because I'm actually reading it.
Okay.
So Stacy has a statement and is unable to be here, and she's asked me to read her statement. First, I apologize for not being able in person to make this proposal. However, due to timing and the nature of the appointments I had scheduled today, I was unable to reschedule. I know that the county has been struggling to find ways to cut budgets and to save taxpayers' dollars in any way possible. So I want to bring the following proposal to the board to be considered and to be placed on the agenda at the next possible meeting date and time. The duties of the finance position entail processing claims, payroll, along with the liability insurances, federal reporting, etc. I am aware this is not a complete detailed list of responsibilities. All the duties of the finance position are statutorily under the clerk and recorder's responsibilities. Should the finance position be eliminated and the duties associated with the processing of payroll and claims be returned to the clerk and recorder's office, it would save the county and therefore the taxpayers $42,812.80. This figure includes the salary of $28,308.80, unemployment $127, workman's comp $351, FICA $21.65, and employer share of PERS $19.61 or $1,961. The current staff in the clerk and recorder's office has approximately 33 years combined experience in the processing of claims and payroll with Black Mountain software. There would be zero downtime and lapse in procedure with the change, as there would be no training period required. The processing of claims and payroll is not a full-time position, especially when the people doing the processing are efficient and know the system as well as the clerk and recorder and her employee does. Expecting the HR/commissioner assistant to assume these duties even temporarily is a hardship and unrealistic with the limited training and support that would be given. I would like to propose that the duties associated with processing claims and payroll be returned to the clerk and recorder's office effective the day following the position being vacated by the current employee, which would incur a savings to the county and the taxpayers of $42,812.80, and would also drastically reduce any interruption in efficiency, as there would be little to no training required. When everybody is looking everywhere to scrimp and save each and every possible dollar, this is, in my opinion, and that of many others, the most logical and fiscally responsible action to take. She gave me some copies, so I'm assuming she wanted to
Yeah.
give them to you. And I'm not, I just said that I agree with the statement, so I'm not in any position of adding more to it than that.
Okay. Well, thank you for reading this
And
statement.
we will put it on the agenda.
From the general fund to the comprehensive insurance fund. It wasn't originally, insurance came in a little higher than, it must have been what we budgeted or something. The other transfer is we need to transfer additional money from PILT to the retirement. It came in $7,622.49 more than what we budgeted. So we need to approve those two transfers. And then you also, need to approve funds that are being closed. And so there's 4 funds down below that are being closed. The first one is the Library Depreciation Fund. This is a fund, it's a capital project fund, so it allows for them to, take money and save it indefinitely for capital projects over $5,000. There's $554 in there. I don't see it really changing anytime in the near future, and so I was just trying to clean up the funds. So I just gave it back to the library. The other 3 funds, these funds have had no activity since I went back as far as July of 2010. And I did ask Mary and Stacy. Mary replied back that she believes these funds, we don't need to have them anymore. And like I said, there's been no activity for 7 years at least. So
What is the trustee sale proceeds?
Mary really didn't even know what it's even for. Like I said, there's been no activity for 7 years
And
plus.
the only thing I can remember that we ever sold, we sold that screening machine that was Jason's.
Yeah, but
But I don't think-
this is trustee sale, that would be more of a
It's more of a
land,
foreclosure.
people,
Oh.
when they foreclose on a piece of property, then
Mhm. That's what I would think it is.
it's almost like, when
Mhm.
Mary goes out and sells a piece of property, or say,
Yeah, she does,
on
yeah.
the
Mhm.
courthouse lawn, we got the proceeds, but then Maybe they didn't get.
So where does that money
somewhere.
go?
I don't know.
So that, we're putting all three of those into the general fund.
Okay, it says that right there.
The bid performance bond, trustee sale proceeds, and entitlement levy clearing fund.
What is the bid performance bond?
Nobody knows. It's had no activity for 10 years,
Oh.
so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, normally you see, like the JP court has something like that, but that's within their own software.
System, yeah.
Yep, and I don't know what a
Yeah.
treasurer
Yeah.
or a county would have for a fund that, but, so anyway, so I did, like I said, there's been no activity for at least 7 years, maybe even, I didn't even go back farther than 7 years. And Mary was in agreement that, she doesn't see any reason why those funds shouldn't be closed either. So, that is that. Do we have any questions on the transfers and the closing of funds? Okay, so we can,
Motion then?
yeah,
So I'll make a motion that we, make a cash transfer request and fund closeout approval for, transfers from the general fund of HILT to comprehensive insurance and PERS, in the amount of $10,717.46, and then close out the funds of library depreciation, bid performance bonds, trustee sale proceeds, and then entitlement levy clearing.
All right, I would second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
excellent. And then the next item is budget amendments. So this is budget amendments for the last year's budget, for fiscal year 17 budget. Most of them, you'll find that they're just grants throughout the year, that come in mid-year, and so we increase the budget. Almost all of them, so the first 6 line items are not related to grants. But then after that, it's all grant funds. So really, I think if we could focus on the top 6. So the first one is weed, and the weed fund spent more money than what they had budgeted in their agriculture and horticultural supplies. So anyway, so there's a budget amendment for that. I do, the weed right now has negative cash of, not right now, as of June 30th, had negative cash of $29,000. They did have an accounts receivable from the state for $19,000. So it still leaves them with negative cash of roughly about $10,000. So I think we talked about this before, and I think Casey was gonna send an email to Dave Brink, just saying something along the lines, I don't, like, please be cautious, you have negative cash, whatever. I almost think, this is what I think. Now, I think we should send another email saying that you are not allowed to overspend your budget unless you get prior approval from the commissioners. Because we have to really focus
So
on
we're
trying
trying to do this next year.
Yeah, because if we have to do this again next year, that negative cash is gonna start becoming larger, right?
Yeah, we don't wanna go there.
Right, so I think that would be a good thing, just to say, you cannot go over your budget unless you come and talk to the commissioners first. So I think if you could have Casey do that.
Yeah. Can you do that, Casey?
Excellent. Okay, the next one is the fair, and they went over budget $3,261.77. And they also have a very similar issue, but I think you guys are managing the fair, so whenever you get your budget to actual statements, I'm sure that's one of the funds you're really focusing on, but they also have negative cash
Right.
of $2,700. So there's that one.
Do you think they need to be sent to similar letters?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
Is
Why
there
not send them a
one
letter
that's
to say you can't go over your budget without prior approval? It would be good. I mean, nobody technically should be anyway, but I
Yeah.
think it would just be a good thing to remind.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last comprehensive insurance, it came in $481 more. The public safety, reason, PRS and SRS retirement, that was more than what we had budgeted slightly. The equitable sharing program,
Would that be because maybe some retirement, you had to pay more PERS on somebody that, say, no, it wouldn't be Kevin.
Yeah,
Well, like Keith retired.
possibly.
$1,000
$10,000 in retire,
wages.
Wages.
Reason for sure. The equitable sharing program, that was that one grant, so they did end up spending, in fiscal year 17, $496.93 out of that fund. So we have to do a budget amendment for that. And then, I think, well, actually, that was the grant one, so I think that addresses the ones that aren't related to grants. What questions do you guys have on that? Any?
So,
Okay.
you Jenny?
So I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 09-29-2017, whereas the following was not formally adopted as part of the fiscal year 2017 operating budget for Mineral County, Montana, and whereas the revenue supporting the said budget expenditures is not from tax monies to be levied on Mineral County, but rather received from some other source as mentioned, and whereas for purposes of total disclosure, these expenditures should be included in the formal fiscal year 2017 operating budget and fiscal year 2017 revenue estimates for Mineral County, Montana.
I would second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Hey,
Aye. Motion carries. Do we need to sign one of these, or
Yeah,
you got one we want to sign? or do you-
I don't, we can,
no,
oh, no, I think yours is fine to sign. Yeah, I don't have
this
it.
one
Okay.
okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give it to Chrissy. So I think that's all I have. All right, you guys, have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay.